Hit 'em Up is the worst diss track ever written and recorded. And yes, I've heard of Nick Cannon. It's the worst diss track because it basically consists of a single line, which is, I fucked your wife. And that kind of reminds me of an episode of Seinfeld where Costanza gets into a roast battle with his co-workers, and he can't think of anything to say, so he says,
Yeah? Well, I had sex with your wife.
yeah. You know, a rap battle is a writing competition. If you can't write, you lose. And Tupac couldn't even spell his own first name. You ever read his poetry before? It's enough to make a Hallmark card vomit. That's how fucking corny that shit is. But somehow this song ends up on everyone's top 10 list, usually near the top. A good example of a rap, of a diss track, would be A Long Kiss Goodnight by Biggie Smalls. First line is, I'll make your mouthpiece obese like Della Reese. Compared to this.
Yeah? Well, I had sex with your wife.
A Long Kiss Goodnight was about Tupac. You could find it in this line right here. I'm flaming gats aiming at these fucking maniacs, put my name in raps. What part of the game is that? Like they hustle backwards.
Yeah? Well, I had sex with your wife.
And the interesting thing I always liked about A Long Kiss Goodnight is it was recorded after Tupac's death, so it was kind of an obituary too. It was a diss obituary. Try to rush me, slugs go touchy touchy. You're bleeding lovely with your spirit above me or beneath me. Your whole life you live sneaky. Now you rest eternally sleepy. You burn when you creep me, rest where the worms and the weak be.
Yeah? Well, I had sex with your wife.
You know, that part's not even true. The whole premise of the song is based on a lie. He wanted to seduce Biggie's wife. His master seduction plan consisted of a friend introducing the two of them at a club. He invited Faith Evans to guest star on a track. She recorded the track. She asked for her 25 grand. He said, it's in my hotel room. She went to his hotel room. He showed her the check and he said, if you take this money, that means you're mine now and you have to put your mouth on my penis. She declined. I don't know why she declined. Maybe in that shootout he shot his own testicles off and maybe he was down to one pack. But she declined to suck on his fucking measly prick. And they removed her vocals from the track, and that's why she's not credited on any songs. She never took the money. Also, why would you get angry at somebody who had sex with you? Most incels get angry at women who don't have sex with them. So, what's more logical? Tupac was not a fan of women, and women were not a fan of Tupac. He'd been shot down by Whitney Houston. He'd been shot down by Tabitha Soren from MTV News. I think he fucking lost a shot with TLC at one point, somebody from TLC. He was not a fan of women. Women were not a fan of him. You can figure that out by looking at his criminal record, or you could just listen to this.
with your wife.
You know what the funniest part about that that music video was this. This was Tupac trying to play cops and robbers. A grown man pretending to be a gangster in real life. This is not an actual gang sign. This just means West Side. It's not a gang sign. It's a direction on a map. Tupac was not in a gang. He was in poetic justice with Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson wouldn't fuck him either. She shot him down. You know who she did hook up with? Jermaine Dupri. A grown 8-year-old. You ever seen Jermaine Dupri before? He looks like he's 8 years old. He's like 50 years old now. I just saw him in an interview and he still looks kind of like he's 8 years old. Like when he goes to a doctor, the doctor can't tell if he has arthritis or growing pains. So either Janet Jackson had the exact same taste in men as her brother, or Tupac had no fucking game whatsoever. But nevertheless, he still put out this song.
Yeah? Well, I had sex with your wife.
You know, this song should not be on people's top 10 diss tracks. It certainly shouldn't be at anyone's #1 list. Up rocks, whoever the fuck that is. This song created nothing but tension, violence, jealousy, and hate. Just like the man himself. Did you know he pulled a gun on Biggie Smalls at an awards show at the Soul Train Music Awards because Biggie won an award? Tupac lost an award to Biggie and responded by pulling a gun on him at an awards show. Can you imagine if Ridley Scott pulled a gun on Steven Soderbergh at the Oscars because he lost Best Director? But that's the person who's being granted sainthood now, who people are arguing is the greatest rapper, the modern Bob Marley. No, whatever. Fact is, he created an atmosphere of violence and hate that led to the death of a great artist, which would be Biggie Smalls, whose kids lost a father, and whose wife is a widow, and whose mother lost a son. And maybe you should probably stop worshiping a song based on one stupid, ridiculous line.
Yeah? Well, I had sex with your wife.